Hi, Nigel. Buckle down, it might take a while. Firstly, don't worry, I don't want to talk about this, the first by-election that's been announced after one of your people has resigned. I've got to say, I wonder how the people of this area feel knowing that 23 grand of their council tax money is now going to go on another election because you couldn't be asked to vet the people the first time round. Like, I could probably save you a bit of money on all the Doge stuff that's going to go on with all the reform councils, because with, I think it's 27 councillors have now resigned. That's 27 lots of 23 grand completely wasted. So you don't have to get Doge to tell you that. I've just told you it for free. Like, you're really behind the times with all the Doge stuff, because I get it. There was a time, wasn't it, where you kept telling everybody, well, who wouldn't want Elon Musk supporting the party because he's really cool and he's doing Doge and that's going to be amazing. But Doge didn't turn out that well, did it, Nigel? Of the $2 million that Elon said he was going to save, but in reality, he actually only saved $150 billion. And even that wasn't all that it seemed. Because apparently it's cost them $138 billion to fight the law cases that has happened as a result of Doge. And also, Donald is overspending again. In fact, the whole thing turned out to be a bit of a car crash for Elon. And I'm not even talking about the Tesla shares plummeting, which sort of makes a mockery of the Telegraph trying to say that it was your Bitcoin policy that cost you your credibility, really, isn't it? But listen, let's park all of that, because this is what I wanted to speak to you about. Like, so many of you are sharing this article in the Telegraph yesterday, based on a series of FOI requests by the Tory Neil O'Brien. And whilst the Telegraph article is deliberately vague around what sort of migrants they are, you always want people to think about migrants in terms of the small boats crossing, even though that's just 3% of migration to the UK. But I mean, even that's ironic, because it's Brexit created the boats issue, and it's also Brexit, or the Tories' maladaptive way of trying to cope with the gap in our workforce after Brexit, that created the net migration rise that you're now fighting against. And whilst you hope that people just look at the headline and get horrified, and I guess hope that they don't see this huge spike in the article, which was, let me just check my notes, after Brexit. What you fail to say is universal credit is very often given to people who are working, but it says a lot about the crap wages in the UK that they need additional support. You also fail to note that universal credit is given to a household, and the Freedom of Information request asked were there foreign nationals within the household, so not necessarily the people that are requiring the universal credit. Whilst it's true that a low-paid migrant actually has a negative fiscal impact on our economy, it's also true that the average waged and the high waged actually pay into our economy a lot more than they take out. And then, in line with the Russian propaganda rules of disinformation, you always equate the money that was spent on the migrants with money that could have been spent on UK citizens, even though some of that money that you're saying was spent on the migrants could have been on the UK citizens as well. Meanwhile, your mate Liz, who you've been taking advice from, is saying that people no longer want to come to the UK because there's no freedom of speech. I won't take up any more of your time. I think you're still in Vegas. By the way, that video that you shot there was lovely because it showed people that they can be aspirational. I guess Clacton hasn't got the same appeal as it. Anyway, listen, I digress, as you were.